I love you.
So, Greenie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna steal this from you.
That's fair.
Yep. Just because 2 weeks ago. But also, I just want to ask you, are we doing this film because it's our first film in April? Is that what you're doing to us? Is that why you chose
Are you
this
saying,
film?
is this an April Fool's joke? Is that what you're saying?
Is that what you are doing to me? Is that what this was?
I think so, actually. A little bit. Because, I didn't watch this film. I'm not going to... I just read the... No, I'm kidding you. I'm fucking with you. We are recording this on April Fool's Day, so it does feel a bit like an April Fool's joke.
It does feel like an April Fool's joke.
Yeah. But it's airing later, so it doesn't apply to you listeners out there, you lovely, lovely couch potatoes.
Yeah, it's just a prank on me.
Yeah, it's just a prank on old Faceless over there, and I'm the Green Traveler from Gorsh.
And I am Faceless Leon. This is a podcast about movies and TV called Green Faceless on the Couch.
Ba-doom boom. And you're back listening to us, and we love having your beautiful little ears here, because we're going to talk another Nick Cage film. You've already clicked on it. You already know. Knowing. That's what we're doing today.
Yeah, knowing.
That was terrible.
I always feel like it should be The Knowing, like
right.
The Shining.
Something.
Yeah. Because it does have that feel a little bit.
The Shining?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Ring kind of has that feeling a little bit.
Yeah, I would say it's trying more for a Ring-like atmosphere, I guess.
Yeah.
Doom and gloom.
There is forces at work that are driving the character towards something that they have no idea what the fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's... Oh my god, is it something else? It is something else.
Nobody knows.
I will preface everything we're going to talk about with the fact that Roger Ebert gave this movie 4 out of 4 stars. And I remember when he did this, because this movie came out in 2009. I was 16. I was following him pretty regularly by then. And this movie came out. He gave it 4 out of 4. I was like, I have to go see this film. Mm-hmm. And nobody would go see it with me. So I waited until it was rentable on DVD, and I rented it on DVD. And I watched it, and I was like, he gave this a 4 out of 4? Was he high?
So
that's all I'll say.
I will upfront say that this movie is not the worst movie. It tries. It tries. It has some interesting things, but there's just so many moments that I'm like, what? What the fuck?
Yeah. It is a very weird hodgepodge of amazing and what?
Yeah.
And okay, I guess if you want to, sure.
Yes, exactly. And even Nicolas Cage's performance, I think, is honestly a pretty damn good performance for him.
His performances are always pretty damn good.
His performances are always a work of art.
I will die on this hill. Yeah, that is true. It is always artful at the most.
We love you.
But no, I agree. In regards to like mainstream cinema acting, his performance here is very similar to that. It is trying for a more traditional, tone. Like it's kind of like his National Treasure kind of acting. It's a blockbuster acting.
He's a quieter Nicholas.
Yeah.
This is not the Nicholas that was in The Rock.
or in Wicker Man. God damn it! Oh, it's good. No, yeah, he's much less. Even though this is a very dramatic film, he is much less over the top dramatic. He is more focused on point. There are some hilarious scenes still, and let's talk about it. Let's talk the great plot that is Knowing.
Yes.
First off, it's directed by Alex Proyas and written by Ryan Douglas Pearson, and then the married couple, Juliet Snowden and Styles White, who are Juliet Stone and Styles White, the married couple who wrote this film, were also the writers of Ouija. So I've already, in a way, talked about them when I made fun of that movie a couple episodes back.
Okay, so the reason why I was like, why I cracked up is their names, just their last names, Snowden and White, and they're married.
Yep. Hey, you don't have to take. Hey, I'm sure they know. Your name.
Huh? Yeah. No. I don't think so. But they're still the same name.
Yeah. White Snow. And just like White Snow, and you would think, oh, cocaine. That's kind of what their movies feel like. Cocaine.
Yeah, a little bit.
Ouija and this film. This film is much better than Ouija, I will be honest.
Yeah. I enjoyed watching this film. I'll say that. Yeah. I haven't watched Ouija, so I can't say.
I don't remember enjoying it, but I think it might be funnier than I remember it being. It's been a very long time, and I was not sober. The first
time you went to see it, you were like wanting to see a serious horror movie, but perhaps on rewatch, it'll be better.
It's really funny. It's like I went to see a serious horror movie with Ouija, hated it because it was bad, and then I went to see a campy horror movie with Ouija Origin of Evil, and was terrified because it was good terrified. The whole franchise is fucked, man.
That'll be a sequel smash maybe this October.
Yeah, maybe. I there's so many things I want to put into Halloween, and it's just like it's hard sorting through what's needed up front, what's needed for this year.
What's needed for this year?
Yeah. We'll have meetings about it. We'll have our big corporate meetings where we get all the government agents and everything in the room, and we all talk it out and figure out what our plan is for the schedule. We'll do that. We'll mark out a weekend.
I kind of, if I might be able to make a suggestion or a request, I think I could do just one zombie episode. I don't think we did zombies yet. Oh, well, we did the Army of the Dead or whatever the fuck that was, that Zack Snyder stuff.
Yeah, oof, yeah, we did. Yeah, that'd be fun. Something. Yeah, we can do a zombie threesome where we pull some good zombie flicks throughout.
Sounds good.
Look at us! Look at us avoiding knowing.
I didn't even realize I was stalling. So this movie, we'll just jump right in. We got John Kostler. Kostler? Kessler. Yep. I said 2 out of 3 of those, so maybe. So John, Professor John, the Cage, he teaches...
The Cage.
astronomics, I think? I don't know, fuck. He was throwing around a sun and talking about the heat and shit like that. Anyhow, he has a son named Caleb, who he raises alone because the mother accidentally. I don't remember actually how she died. Now that I think about it, I think she probably got sick.
Yeah, I can't remember either. Now, actually, they mention.
It was either an accident. No. It was an accident. She died in a fire.
Okay, I was gonna say it was either fire or drowning, and I couldn't remember which.
It's fire.
Those are like precise opposites.
There was like a building that caught fire, and she was in it, or something. So this movie is about tragic accidents or natural disasters and stuff like that, and for some reason, some knowing. Yeah. So, Caleb, by the way, is played by Chandler Canterbury. I think he did a pretty good job. I think both the kids in this did a pretty good job. You have Laura Robinson, who plays Lucinda, who 50 years before our current story put a picture in a time capsule along with the rest of her class, but instead of drawing something, she wrote down this long list of numbers that covered the page backwards and forwards. And
ridiculous.
When they dig up the time capsule, they give that particular Lucinda's letter with the code, with the knowing in it. They give the knowing envelope to Caleb, and he opens it up, and he says, "Oh, there's a sandwich in here." somehow there was a sandwich in there. It was a knowing sandwich, and he ate it. And then all of a sudden, he had
like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was like, what? Where did you go? No.
Well, seriously, as soon as he starts reading the numbers, he gets
the creepy whispers.
Hearing stuff. Yeah, the creepy whispers. And it's not good.
Which Lucinda was hearing as well. She was hearing that throughout the whole thing. And I remember when this movie came out, I don't remember anybody I knew watching it, but I did have one kid in school who wrote, like, he just filled up papers, like notebooks with equations. He would just fill, like, top to bottom, left to right, every single space filled with an equation. So it was, seeing this Lucinda writing a crap ton of numbers down. I'm sure it probably seems weird to most people, but when I saw that, I was like, yeah, I got one of those in my school. That makes sense. Somebody would definitely. Yeah. It's just like you're all supposed to draw this beautiful picture that, 50 years in the future, some other kid will open up and be like, oh, this is a picture some kid drew way back when. It's supposed to be cute, nice little moment. And one of them just submits a sheet lined with fucking numbers. And it's like, yep. All right, I guess.
Sure. Nice. That is not necessarily how Miss Taylor felt about it. She was like, you're supposed to be drawing a picture. No, she was very sweet about it. And Miss Taylor is played both by Danielle Carter in 1959 and Aletha McGrath in 2009. She comes for the ceremony of taking out the time capsule since it was her students. Yeah. And then after that, go ahead.
Yeah. I was just going to say, by happenstance, later on in that night, John, Nicolas Cage, realizes that his kid kept the paper numbers even though he was supposed to return it. And after he puts his kid to bed, and after he starts drinking heavily because he is also an alcoholic, but that's not really addressed in this movie at all. It's just constantly shown. It's just
not really
beating in your head that this dude
drinks. They try
to
give him some character growth, which I think they do accomplish. But
it's just another side fact of this character, but one that is just a little too beaten into your head because he takes quite a few many sips in this film. It was after a while I was like, okay, we get it. He is drunk. I got it.
Yeah. But he only drinks. It seems, at least at first, he only drinks after he puts the kid to bed.
And then he just blackouts and misses days.
Glasses. Yeah. He definitely gets worse towards the end, but that's because of what he discovers about the numbers.
Right, and what he does discover while drunk that first night, he's looking at the numbers and he discovers a pattern, a sequence that some of these numbers resemble a date and time and a number of people killed on that date. So like the first one, of course, being in the late 2000s, the first one that he recognized was, September 11th, 2001. And he's just like, oh, well, that sticks out clearly because that was, 9/11. That makes sense. So he Googles it, sees how many people died on that day, and that's the number that follows that in the pattern. He's just like, what the fuck? And that's one of honestly the funnier scenes of this movie, in regards to Nick Cage's acting, is the 9/11 scene. Because it's just him just doing this simple research on a computer and then like having like epic music in the background where it's just like, oh, he's discovering the pattern.
And he's so ridiculous. Nick is totally being like, what the fuck?
What the fuck? Come on. I do remember he does a good come on, no.
No.
So funny.
It's not that. It's not that over the top.
But then he goes and gets his friend, I believe Phil Beckman, played by Ben Mendelsohn, who has become more popular with like Dark Knight Rises, and he's in Marvel now. He was in Captain Marvel. Talos.
He was.
Talos. Was it Talos? Hold on, I can search this.
Talos. Is it Talos?
Yeah, he
Talos
was Talos.
is in Skyrim.
And in Captain Marvel, he was the Skrull. Are they the
yes.
Skrull people?
Okay, I remember now. Yes.
Ben Mendelsohn. But he tells his friend Ben, he shows him the paper, and he's like, look, Ben, all of these events, because there's a bunch of them. He researched a lot of these events, found a lot of them appearing on this paper that was, again, 50 years ago, written 50 years ago. And so he's just like, this is impossible. I know I'm going crazy, but I just needed to show you this because...
You just have to take a bite of the sandwich.
Yeah, you have to take a bite of the sandwich. You have to understand that what I'm feeding you here is the truth.
Yes.
And Ben, acting like a normal human being, is like, bro, you need to calm down.
Yeah, and for some reason, he keeps on calling Ben Mendelsohn Phil Beckman. I don't know why.
but he's just like, you need to calm down. You need to go home. You just need to sleep it off. You're going crazy. And like what John Kessler is focusing on is that there's more dates that haven't happened yet. There's future dates that predict awful things, and the whole paper ends with what he stupidly, for some reason, takes to be a 33, but a very blocky 33, almost as if it's just two E's written backwards, which it clearly is two E's written backwards. But for whatever reason, he's like, I don't know why it ends in 33, but whatever. That part was dumb to me. The mystery of the EE is dumb, I think.
Yeah, I still don't know what it honestly stands for.
Oh, it's when he flips, spoilers if you're going to go out there and watch Knowing. When he flips the mattress in Lucinda's home, when they go to Lucinda's house, he flips the bed and it says everyone else. So it's the end of the paper because everyone else dies. It's the apocalypse. Yeah. So that's what it stood for. That's why I thought it was just dumb. It's just just write EE. Yeah, just write EE. You don't need to make this dumb, like, why is it end in 33? I don't get it. It's like, that's not a 33.
I don't get it. This damn kid from 50 years ago didn't know enough. Give me that sandwich.
But he starts to realize, one of the things that Phil Beckman pointed out is there are a lot of blocks in the notes of Lucinda's paper, a lot of blocks that are not figured out what they are. Nick didn't have a solution for them. There's always like 8 number string patterns in between the dates and the amount of deaths. And he could never figure out what those numbers meant.
Figure it out. So spoilers.
Yes. Spoilers, yes. But he discovers, while stuck in traffic, because he was supposed to go pick up his kid, but he was too drunk to remember he was supposed to go pick up his kid. But he's in there now. He's in traffic waiting. And he looks at his GPS, and he sees the coordinates match the next date on the list, the next future date of many deaths.
The best some coincidence written into film.
Yeah, for fucking real. But he's just like, oh my god, all the missing things are coordinates. They're all locations of where the big event's going to happen, where this terrifying, deadly event is going to start or take place. And I'm at the next location on the day that this is supposed to happen. And so he gets out, for whatever reason, and he's just like, okay, I'm going to walk up and see what the traffic accident is up ahead. Maybe 81 people died in that traffic accident, because that's how many people are supposed to die, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, he's lucky he got out of his car, because while he's out of his car, one of the most awesome, hilarious action scenes in cinema happens. And it's a plane crashing, like right next to him. Like,
its wing like cuts across the road, and then it like smacks its belly onto the earth and just explodes as it skids along. Yeah, and the passengers obviously are among those 81 dead, or how many ever the fuck.
Right. And some of the people in the cars who the plane just hit.
The plane just cut through these cars. It was fun to watch, but man, like, and I was like, man, that was a lot of fun. I liked that. And the effects were honestly pretty good too. And then I thought to myself, air traffic control is so on it that they would have had that road clear. I'm pretty sure they would have had some warning. You know, there was police in the streets, so there was radios there already.
Yeah,
like
they definitely could have done something.
Yeah,
but like
they would have started moving those people away, unless they were like right next to the airport, because planes fly really high in the sky, like really high.
But they're also going incredibly fast.
Yes,
so like,
they are.
Crash time is probably less than a minute, I would say.
Yeah,
so it's like,
you really think so? Less than a minute? They're like,
I don't know. I'm trying to think of like it depends on what caused the accident. I don't think they mentioned what caused the airplane to go down.
No,
but like don't. I can imagine it being really fast.
They fly 31,000 to 38,000 feet in the air, and that's about 5.9 to 7.2 miles. And I know they're going really fast, but that's a long way to fall. Like, you don't even parachute from that height.
Right.
When you jump out of a plane. So, like, at the angle, at least, that plane was falling, they had some time to be like, hey, and, you know, they got computers that do this math that help them nowadays. It's not like the 60s.
Okay. So this isn't a very educated guess, but it would be about 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay. Now, that is pretty quick. But I think it's quick enough for them to be like, hey, we're going down. And they know the vector because of their instruments. And
because of Victor.
What?
They know their vector because of Victor.
Because of Victor, yes, exactly. And they all had their knowing sandwiches for lunch that day. That was what the in-flight plan was. The in-flight meal, rather. So they can get an educated guess of where it's going before it hits. Right. And they are in constant contact with air traffic control. Air traffic control would immediately alert the authorities. The authorities were already there.
But they were handling an oil spill or something.
They were handling a car accident. But all they had to be was like, hey, everybody, out of the cars. Go in this direction. That's all they had to do.
But I guess the problem too is what if the course shifts and they've just guided everybody into where the plane actually goes down?
Okay, but like those police officers had no worry about this. They did not know this was going to happen.
They had no idea. Yeah, I'm not even like honestly going to try to defend this movie. It definitely has plot holes. It definitely has a bunch of weird issues. I think the plane scene, though, in and of itself is fun. I think it is a very interesting scene. I did see one review that said a lot of people were laughing at that scene in the theaters.
Yeah.
Which I can understand. It definitely has a bit of unintentional comedy, and the fact that, like, scale and scope, like, distance in general, feels so off in that scene.
Oh, sure.
Like, I'm sure that plane was actually many, many feet away from Nick Cage. But when it skids through the cars, it looks like it's literally just like 2 or 3 cars lengths away from him.
Right.
And when it explodes, it looks like it's just like a tree that's maybe 100 feet away from him.
Yeah.
Like it's
like
wild.
A fireman,
it's
like he has played in several other films. He just dashes towards it.
Yeah.
He's gonna. I don't know. I mean,
it was pretty funny. Like there was one scene where he's like standing in front of the engine, like the propeller jet kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking back to Lost when a guy got sucked in that and exploded. And I'm like, don't stand in front of it. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
It's still going.
Lost has been out by this point.
You've seen this. Yeah, and
everybody watched Lost. It was the talk of the town.
I will give it credit. I think that is a 2-minute long shot. I think it's a one consecutive shot thing. It took them 2 days to set up. It took them 2 days to film it. And so it's just like, you know, there was a lot of effort that went into the action scenes, because there's a lot of them in this movie. It's not just that plane scene. There's a train scene that was pretty hilarious. That, you know, there's a lot of big disaster scenes that they really did go pretty far out for, and I want to give them credit for it. They did a good job.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do too. There's a lot of really good action scenes in this film, as you are arguing. There's a lot of things I like about this film, but there's just too many moments where I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what is happening here? And it all boils down, because it's like the events are getting worse. They're all building to something bad. Nick Cage has come across Lucinda's not ancestor, the other one, descendant, her granddaughter.
Yeah,
Abby. Thank you.
It's played by the same actor. It's the same. I think at least the IMDb website says it's the same actor.
Oh, who played Lucinda too?
Yeah,
nice. Yeah, her and what's her daughter's name? Is it Grace? Is that the right?
Grace, yes.
Okay, played by Nadia Townsend.
No.
Oops.
Diana is Rose. Byrne. Yes.
Okay. That's the daughter. Is it Diana, or is that the
That's
mother?
Lucinda's daughter.
Lucinda's daughter is Diana. Okay, gotcha. Sorry, I'm all backwards on this.
Anyways. Abby and Lucinda, Abby being the granddaughter of Lucinda, are the same.
Gotcha.
Same
she also
actor.
plays Lucinda.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm on board with you now. I understand. Nick runs into Diana, kind of creepily, almost, honestly. That scene. Yeah, that scene where where his kid and Abby are pulling it off. Caleb and Abby are, you know, just doing the thing kids do, where they're just like, "Oh, cool, another kid. We're gonna have fun."
Yeah.
And Nick is just kind of like awkwardly hovering over the other kid's mom. Is like, "That's my kid. I'm his father."
Like, it almost seems sweet at first, and like Diana's like, you know, he seems like a nice guy. Maybe if he asked me out, I'd be cool with that. Which, you know, they have to throw in every movie, even though the world is going to die in a month or whatever the fuck. Yeah. It seems like at first they have a lot of time, but the time just passes so fast. Like, where does the time go in this movie? I swear they said there was like a month, and then all of a sudden it was today.
Yeah, then it was just happening. Yeah, and also, like, I think they mentioned that his wife died just a year ago before these events.
Oh, really?
So it's just... Maybe not. Maybe it was a little longer than that. But I remembered it seeming very short time that he was just like immediately, we got to give him another love interest. It's just like, okay. We don't, but okay.
We don't. Especially one that's, I don't know. Rose seems quite a bit younger than Nicholas. And, you know, I have nothing against that, really.
And it doesn't really go anywhere.
They don't like... I don't like the trend in media.
Right. Yeah. But, like, they don't actually do anything with it. Like, he reveals pretty immediately that he only sought her out because she is the descendant of Lucinda. And he's like, hey, your mom wrote some weird shit and all that shit is coming true. And when that shit comes true, lots of people die. And I have to figure out how to stop it. And then she's just like, oh, what's the next date? And he tells her and she's like, oh, that's the date she always told me I would die. Yeah. And it's just like, yeah, people are fucked up in this movie.
Yeah,
and like Lucinda, most importantly, and all of her offspring, I feel for them. I really do. But yeah, it all boils down to the big EE. Everyone else, they discover that's the apocalypse, and Nick becomes like just embroidered with the idea, like, I have to stop the apocalypse. How is this even possible? Mm-hmm. And then also throughout the whole movie, the kids are being haunted by the Whisper Men.
Those are interesting. I just wish there was more before the reveal. Like,
right.
Something to make them just a touch creepier, which I feel like maybe even hinting at it is a spoiler, which, sorry, I don't know. I mean, I think I do recommend this movie because it is interesting.
It is interesting. Yeah, it feels the best way I can describe it, and this is going to sound I mean, I know it is an insult. It definitely coming out of my mouth is an insult, and I'm sorry, because I know a lot of people will love this guy. It feels like a Dean Koontz story. It feels like, you know, it feels like a pretty decent horror thriller. Like, because there are some good horror thriller elements in this. It is most certainly not a horror film, but there are some slight elements, especially with the Whispermen. When you see the Whispermen, there's a lot to them that feel kind of like a sci-fi horror. And that's where it just feels like a Dean Koontz, where it's like, in my opinion, discount Stephen King. Like, it's very decent, well-told horror thriller, but it's kind of rushed and kind of made, you know, one after the other. Like, it's kind of, it's on a conveyor belt. And that's kind of how this feels. It feels like there was a lot of thought put into it. There was a lot of effort put into it.
Somebody thought they were making a really high tier movie, though.
Yeah, I feel like. And I'm curious if they had tried to be more serious about it, if they had been more cemented in the atmosphere and in the storytelling, if it would have come across better, or if they had taken themselves less seriously, if it would have been more fun. Mm-hmm. You know, if it would have just been like a popcorn end of days film, maybe it would have been even more fun. I don't know. What we got, though, I think is still enjoyable. I guess I'm going into my closing statements if you're okay with that. Yeah,
it sounds good. Yes.
Yeah. I give it 2.5 stars. I do enjoy it. I do recommend it. It's interesting. As you said, it's interesting. It
is bizarre because it's like it's trying to be based in fact, but it just is not.
Yeah.
So, like, when you realize that kind of stuff and, you know, you're trying to be in the movie, it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I do recommend it because it's a fun time, and I think the parts that I have problem with I actually find really goofy, and it's almost endearing. So I give it a face, you know, like I said, go watch the movie. It's fun. But it is, I can't say it's a good movie. Maybe it is. I don't know. I just can't say.
I don't know. I guess
have we been watching too many Nick Cage movies? Like, is it getting harder to tell?
Yeah, right. We're getting saturated in the chaos of it all. I will also say this film does have a young Liam Hemsworth.
Oh,
there is that.
Was he?
I don't remember who. It says here that he was Spencer. I don't remember him.
Oh, Spencer was the friend that Caleb kept on bringing up, but I don't remember meeting him.
I don't remember him at all. But on Wikipedia, it says he was there. So, there we go. You've been mentioned, famous person. Don't sue us.
There's a lot of famous people that we didn't mention, I think. But
yeah, but he's like close to A tier.
I see. Close to. I got you.
Yeah.
That's kind of...
He's not A tier, but he is literally a direct relation to A tier
blood.
Yeah. Yeah, and honestly, he himself is a good enough actor to be A tier. He's just not as, you know, he's just not in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
He's got a little bit of a shadow. Oh, you think they have to put him in the universe?
Yeah, he's got to be in the MCU. Yeah,
Here, take this sandwich. It will give you superpowers.
He's guaranteed, almost surely, he'll get an X-Men role. When they bring in the X-Men, they'll get Liam Hemsworth in there.
X-Men so bad. I know I have no professional experience. I have...
They could be looking for that, though.
They could be.
You never know.
I really think I could play Hank McCoy. I can sound smarter than this podcast, okay? I promise.
Yeah, get him to get everybody out there. Just contact Disney right now. Well, let's see how the Don't Say Gay stuff plays out first. Okay. If Disney caves to Florida, then maybe don't contact them. But if Disney continues to stand up to Florida and oppose this stupid law, then contact them and give them the Faceless Leon's name, specifically that. Tell them we got a person for you.
You should take up the Faceless Leon. He wants to play the Beast. Don't worry about him not having a face. It'll be fine. He can make one.
Well, yeah, exactly. Think of the savings on production. You can literally just like, wait, are you able to turn color?
No.
Can you go blue?
It's definitely silly putty color all the way.
So they'll still have to spend some money on production to make you blue.
Yeah.
But you can change your face to look pretty, like, beastly.
I have to paint on the eyes, too, unfortunately. I can still blink, though.
But your acting talent is through the roof. Like, that alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks,
and you can hang upside down by your feet.
I can.
You got ridiculous feet.
I do have ridiculous feet. And I could give them thumbs if you wanted to go that weird route you did in First Class, but I don't recommend it. That was weird.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. I wouldn't recommend going that route. Well,
that's our show.
I have been the Green Traveler from Gorsh.
And I have been the Faceless Leon. Thank you all so much for listening. My microphone was a little bit closer this time, so if I was poppy, I apologize. Please check out our Patreon if you would at patreon.com/greenfaceless. See you next time. Safe travels and good night.
Bye.
Green and Faceless on the Couch is a proud production of FictionWorks 19. Are you a fan of the show? Feel free to contact us at greenandfacelessfans@gmail.com or visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/greenandfaceless. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, or rate us on Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much for listening.